Welcome to Kalima Hurra with me, George Galloway, on Almayadeen television, coming to you from London, but discussing parts much farther away. The Italian elections, but not only the politics of Italy, because frankly, throughout Europe, and you could argue in the United States, the centre cannot hold. Everywhere, people are rising up. Sometimes it takes a left form, more often a right form, but the centre, the status quo, the establishment in Europe and in the United States is under threat as possibly never before. The centre cannot hold because it has failed. It has failed people on the economic level, on the societal level, even on the foreign policy level, to which I'm sure in the course of this evening we will turn. I'm joined, as always, by an audience of distinguished experts, including a new Italian member of parliament, and clerics and experts of all kinds. But there are enthusiastic amateurs too, like myself. The Italian election was, in retrospect, very easy to call. I actually did call it on my radio show with an expert from King's College in London, no less, very distinguished academic. I told him that the Five Star Movement were going to win the election. He laughed. Oh, how he laughed. They're not laughing now, because that Five Star Movement, a populist movement, neither left nor right, but populist, struck a chord with what public opinion was thinking and increasingly saying. They're neither left nor right. There are other parties that are unequivocally right. The League, formerly the Northern League, now the Italian League, is undoubtedly very right-wing. But nonetheless, their policy against neoliberal economics, mass immigration, and the problem of the refugees flooding in to Italy more than anywhere else, consequences, of course, of British and American and French and even Italian wars in North Africa and in the Middle East. The people aren't going to put up with it anymore. That was the message. It was the message less authentically expressed by Bunga Bunga man Berlusconi, who has reinvented himself, having formerly been the mouth of the European Union in Italian politics. He's now a very Eurosceptic, don't you know? But he couldn't become the Prime Minister. Indeed, he couldn't even stand for Parliament because he is forbidden by law to do so because he is a convicted criminal. But his party, nonetheless, did well. Not as well as their partners in La Liga, and neither did as well as the Five Star Movement. But if you put the votes of all three together, you have a very clear plurality of the Italian electorate. For someone my age, this is all quite stunning. I grew up in a period where the so-called Christian Democrats, representing the right, and the Communist Party of Italy, the PCI, were absolutely dominant, together entirely hegemonic in the Italian political system. Neither of them actually exists anymore, all in one lifetime. Both have been obliterated by the failures of their own terms of governance, in the case of the Christian Democrats, and in the case of the Communist Party, the PCI, the collapse of the Soviet Union and the socialist idea, at least for a time. Now, Italy isn't the only place that this is happening. In the German parliament, the idiot Social Democrats, that's the Labour equivalent in Germany, has just voted to form a coalition government with the Margaret Thatcher of German politics, Angela Merkel. Imagine a coalition between Jeremy Corbyn and Angela Merkel or Theresa May. It's grotesque, a double-headed beast. What could possibly go wrong? Well, everything, when you consider that the official opposition in Germany is now, therefore, the Social Democrats having joined the government, the official opposition is the Alliance for Deutschland, AfD, which is, yes, you guessed it, another populist, quite right-wing party. People say, what about Macron in France? Well, in the first ballot, Macron almost didn't get through to the second round. If you add the votes of Mr. Mélenchon on the left and Madame Le Pen on the right together, they came quite close, actually, to being the two candidates in the runoff. In Britain, things are slightly different. You could say that Jeremy Corbyn, a man of the left, has taken the Labour Party in a populist direction. Not quite populist enough, in my opinion, but you could say that that's one of the reasons why he alone, of all the Social Democrats in Europe, continues to thrive. In Austria, the populist far right is in control of the country. Imagine, Austria, far right. What could possibly go wrong? So, one thing is for sure, everything is changing. I'm George Galloway, and